CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products, such as our can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com.
And now, it's time to Stand for Truth with the host of Stand for Truth Radio, Susan Knowles.
Good morning, everybody. How is everybody? Patrick, good to see you. Hey, Gary. Hey, Hugh. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Hey, Barbara. Bright and early, how are you? Good morning, happy Tuesday, Marianne. Yes. Hey, Winger, how are you? Good morning, welcome, welcome. HZ, how are you? Chessie, good morning. Hello. Hey, Harold. Hey, Danelle, good to see you. Hey, Carmen. Carmen's awake. Kid Rock is not running for U.S. Senate. He said this morning on Howard Stern. That's sad, Hugh. Sorry to hear that, but he probably figured, why do it? Hey, God morning is correct. Trump is having lunch with policymakers today. Good. Very sad. Hey, Jules, good to see you. Okay, hey, Catherine, good morning. Getting chilly here in Kentucky, Shannon said. Not getting chilly here. It's over 100 yesterday. Hey, Lee. Taxes is the topic. Got to let everybody in over here. For some reason, I didn't put on the webcam. Sorry about that on YouTube. Hey, Jerry, good morning. Marlene, good morning. 90s in Vegas again. Yeah, that's cool. For Hey, Jules. All right, so I'm going to read Psalm 61 as you are sharing and inviting. Good morning, Robin. Okay, hear my cry, O Lord. Attend to my prayer. From the end of the earth I will cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the shelter of your wings. For you, O God, have heard my vows. You have given me the heritage of those who fear your name. You will prolong the king's life, his years as many generations. He shall abide before God forever. O prepare mercy and truth with which may preserve him. So I will sing praise to your name forever, that I may daily perform my vows. Hey, Pat. Hope I didn't miss people coming in. Hey, Chessie. All right, so I want to talk about something this morning before we get started into like the usual stuff. 45 degrees in New Mexico. Oh, goodness. It's higher than that right now. Hey, Chicago Pops. I want to talk about Mueller. I really want to go over this because I think a lot of it, we're getting caught up in the distractions that the mainstream media and the left want us to get caught up in. Hey, Catherine. And I really think that we should just kind of go down this whole talk about it and see where we are. Mulling over Mueller. Yeah. There's not really too much to mull over, and I'll tell you why. I kind of want to, I want to break it down. I wrote an article on SusanKnowles.com. He is a skunk, yes. And I wanted to go over it. Is that Todd? Was that Todd that just said hello? Hey, Josette, good to see you. So, the article I wrote at SusanKnowles.com kind of lays it all out for you. In around 2009, Hillary and the Obama administration, that's okay, Todd, it's okay. They wanted to reset their relationship with Russia. Now, do you remember, and remember this, because this is really important. Remember, hey, Shauna, good to see you. Shauna's back, everybody. Free band rap. Good to see you. Um, Remember the big box with the reset button? You know, they kind of stole that from Staples, basically. So they came in there and they had a big reset button on there and said, "Hey, Rhonda, hey, how are you?" They wanted to kind of like reset their relationship with Russia, and they were all laughing. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is so great," you know, and then the button had some word written in Russian, and Hillary said, "We wanted to say, you know, reset our relationship. Is this the right word?" And they kind of laughed, and the Russian, hey, Cully, the Russian guy said, "No, actually, it means, hey, Sandy, it means overcharged." So from the very beginning, this whole thing was kind of not good. Okay, it kind of started off bad, and the only people who were really overcharged were the American people, in my opinion, because they're the ones that throughout this whole thing, they're the ones that got screwed. Hey, Chris, and we probably are continuing to have that happen. All right, so there were two deals in this whole thing, and it started around 2009. Now, before these deals actually got cut, as you recall, here are the Clintons, Bill Clinton, getting money, you know, for speeches and things like that, supposedly, getting, you know, $500,000. And he wanted to, when he was there, he wanted to talk with the nuclear officials, and he had to ask Hillary Clinton, who was then in the State Department, "Can I have permission to talk to the nuclear officials?" These were the ones that they were looking at to enter into the agreement with. And I don't know if he ever got it, probably not. But when he went over there to do his speech, he met with Vladimir Putin himself, you know, the guy who wanted to get our uranium. And so with this uranium deal that was finished in 2010, they got 20% of our uranium right off the bat. There you go. And this was after. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Is it? I can't read that. Something care. But thank you. RLU care. And so basically, donations came in to the Clintons. Yes, $1 million, and the Clinton money went into the Clinton Foundation, Darlene. Money from, I don't know, just people in Russia who wanted to donate because they thought the Clinton Foundation was so great. So, yeah, what did we get? Let's see. Not too much, other than being, you know, as I said, screwed. I'm not sure. Yeah, we got 145 million. And hey, Spencer, good morning. So basically, all of this money goes into the Clinton Foundation, and we're like, no big deal. It's not a problem. Hillary, of course, doesn't have anything to do with it, because Hillary, you see, is Secretary of State. So she has nothing to do with the monies over here in the Clinton Foundation, which at the time it may have been the Bill Clinton Foundation. The name on that foundation changed so many times. So after that, we know, hey, Diane, that, and nobody talks about this, Eric Holder was sitting on a committee, and I forget the name of the committee that he was on. I don't know if I can find it really quickly for you. He was on the Foreign Investments Committee at the time that Uranium One deal was negotiated and approved. The question then becomes, how much did he know? Because what we're finding out is there were this FBI informant basically says, look, I want to tell you something. This is during the time that these deals are being made and before the deals are approved. I want to talk to you about what the Russians are doing. They're bribing. They're, you know, using bribery. I wonder where. They're extorting. They're taking advantage of American jobs and things like that. So what are you going to do about it? Nothing, apparently. And the question, I think, becomes, how much did the Obama administration know, and when did they know it? Let me just go down the line and who the players were in all this. We know that Rod Rosenstein was the head of the investigation in the FBI at the time. he was the one leading that investigation. And who at the time was the director of the FBI? Robert Mueller. So you have Mueller, you have Rosenstein. Now, who was over Robert Mueller? Well, that would be Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General, and Obama, and Clinton underneath as the Secretary of State. And so Hillary, whenever you talk, conflicts of interest all over the place. With Mueller equals conflicts of interest. I mean, no matter where he is, there's conflicts of interest. So when you have Hillary sitting there saying this is all baloney, and it's the usual list of suspects, that's right, Barbara, she says this is all baloney. Baloney, why? She's trying to pretend that there was no investigation by the FBI, that there was no wrongdoing that was brought up, that certainly she didn't know of any wrongdoing, but even more than that, there was no wrongdoing because there was no investigation or nothing. If there was an investigation, nothing came out of it. So then the question becomes, it's all Fox News' fault, Cully, that's right. Hugh said from 2009 to 2011, Canada had Clinton's $3 million in 3 equal payments. They gave the Clintons $3 million in 3 equal payments. Yeah. You mean the Clinton Foundation, Hugh, not Hillary Clinton. The Hillary Foundation, the Hillary Clinton Foundation. So anyway, and McCabe. Yeah, McCabe was in there too. I don't know what his part was, but he was in the FBI at the time. So here we have Mueller now, who's been appointed by Rod Rosenstein to look into dealings with the president and Russia. So why are they doing that? The only thing that makes sense is because it's a distraction so that we won't go and we won't look at Uranium One. We won't look at what the FBI knew and what they didn't do about it. If the FBI, if Mueller knew anything, he should have come forward and said something. Who would he have gone and said something to? Probably Eric Holder. And Eric Holder probably put the kibosh on anything. But did Mueller do it? Did Mueller know anything? Did he try to stop it? Did he try to stop the Obama administration from entering into these agreements? My guess is that he knew it. He tried to stop it unless he was involved in it. And so right now, here you have a guy who is doing all this investigation, which anybody with any common sense at all would know that this leads back, all of it leads back to the Clintons. Talk about, why are we worried about our elections? What we ought to be worried about is how much that the Russians got in our uranium, and also how much, in addition to that, they got in purchases of our land, because they had to put these sites somewhere for them to have this uranium. So they purchased a lot of our land. And we don't even talk about that. Nobody talks about it. So right now, are we supposed to now once again say, oh, you know what? Mueller's a great guy. Even though there's a conflict, it's okay. He's pretty neutral. He's not a political guy. Okay, well, maybe he's scared. It is scary, Todd. Maybe he's covering his own butt right now, and he's looking at everybody else and pointing fingers at everybody else to save his own butt. Bill sold technology to China. Cully said they talk of it in Eastern. What was that again, Connor? I like listening to you, Susan. Definitely my favorite part of the day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cut the nonsense. I'm trying to cut the nonsense, But I think, the thing of it is that right now, everybody in the GOP, all Congress should be putting a stop on this investigation. They should, if nothing else, on the Russian investigation into interference with our elections. They should say, until we look and see, thank you, Chessie, until we look and see what is going on and what involvement that Mueller may have had in any of this, we need to stop this right here and now. We can pick it up later if need be, but we need to stop the investigation. I think, clearly there's so much evidence here that a 2-year-old could see it. I know Snoopy couldn't hang on, Cully. I don't know, it's so bad. But a 2-year-old can see this. And why isn't anything with the GOP doing it? The problem is 70% of Congress has colluded, Shauna said. Yeah, and that could be a very big problem. But you've got a couple of people, and even, Grassley has been right out there trying to investigate this. Now, we have this little problem. We have the FBI informant who was the first person that came forward and said, hey, there's a problem. Yeah, you can't figure out what he's investigating. Pat, what he's investigating is nothing. What he's investigating is, let's just go round and round in circles. Now, I know some Periscope pundits were saying like a month or so ago, oh, this Mueller investigation is going to be over soon. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to move on. No. As I told you months ago, this investigation is not going to wrap up. This investigation is going to go through 2018, through 2020, and keep on going. It can't wrap up. If it wraps up, there's too much information. You can't distract from this uranium-1 information anymore. I mean, it's something they've got to keep doing in order to protect themselves. And who else was involved in this that we don't know about? Did also Attorney General Lynch pick up and go with it? They all have dirt on one another. That's right, Catherine. They really do. And now, right now that they're throwing them dirt on the way of Tony Podesta, but it's such a softball thing that they're doing. They're not going after Tony Podesta. They're going after the fact that Manafort had some contract and his like it's people associated with Manafort, and they didn't reveal it. I mean, it's not a big thing if you want to really look at it. Tony Podesta, it's not a big thing. But I mean, look at John Podesta, right? We're not going after him. We're not looking at him. We're not looking at the fact that he was with the Clinton Foundation, the whole Clinton campaign and everything else. We're not looking at Hillary for what she may have received in the Clinton Foundation that came from all of this with the Russians. We're not looking at it at all. Hey, John, good to see you. Catherine said she heard the night Hillary lost, Podesta and Bill were in the room, and she was mad, raising the dead, because she couldn't understand why or what. So Podesta said, we'll just blame it on Putin helping Trump. There you go. And again, you couldn't write a better script. Meanwhile, the DOJ stays silent. And why does the DOJ stay silent? Why does Sessions stay silent? Because he's staying out of anything associated with Russia. I mean, he may know this is connected, and if he does, something needs to be done. And firing Jeff Sessions, is one thing that you can do. But then who are you going to put in there? Mueller? You're going to let Mueller take over? Who's going to be the next FBI? The DOJ. Who's going to be the head of the DOJ? Who are you going to put in there? Another Obama appointee? Podesta's a sacrificial lamb, but it won't work. Well, Tony is. John Podesta may not be. Yeah, I'll take over. I'll go in there. Let me go in there and drain the swamp. Judge Janine would be great. Can't have justice while crime is going on and on. And I don't know if anybody last night got to hear my guest. But that's a good show to really listen to. I'm telling you, the name of his book was "I'm the Government and I'm Here to Kill You." And I'm telling you, when you look at things like Ruby Ridge, and we talked about that, Ruby Ridge, we talked about Waco. When you look at those type of things and you see what the government got away with, it was on Danelle. It's a show I do every Monday night. You can go to my website, SusanKnowles.com. My guest was David Hardy, who did a book called "I'm the Government and I'm Here to Kill You." And it was about government negligence. But we got into some motivation. Like, what were the motives behind going into Waco? What were the motives in going into Ruby Ridge? I mean, when you look at that, when you hear the information, hey, Beck, good morning. You got to really understand. Hey, Robert, thanks for the flowers. You got to understand that this has been going on a long time. The government has, and you know this too. Yes, Marlene, we're on at 1 o'clock today, Eastern Time, for God's Views on Political News. And you're probably going to hear a lot of this repeated today on there, so bear with me when you're hearing it again. But, I mean, go in there and listen to that show and listen to what my guest had to say. Again, just go to SusanKnowles.com, scroll down, you'll see David Hardy, and listen to that show. It was really worth listening to. gives you a lot of insight into what these people do with very little repercussions. Yeah, Danielle, I think you'll really like it. She said during the campaign, "Fix this. If this SOB wins, we will all swing from nooses." John said. I didn't hear that one, but I'm not surprised. You should know, being an attorney yourself, Catherine said. Um, I mean, it's amazing. And it's amazing to watch all of these people right now with this whole thing. I mean, even the left would have to agree that there's something funny about it. Did Tom Clancy write this? He could have. I'm serious. I don't think he could have done any better. What country doesn't interfere with the elections? That's right, Gary. It was a great interview, Susan. We are from the government, and we are here to kill you. Thanks, Gary. Gary listened to it. And here's something else. Here's something that when I was doing a little research yesterday, I had forgotten about this. And this was written by a friend of mine who was a former guest on my show, Cheryl Chumley. She used to be with WND, and now she's with the Washington Times. She wrote this article because, see, this stuff has come up before. It came up under Obama. We talked about this uranium deal under Obama, but nobody did anything about it because Obama was president at the time. But she wrote an article, and I went back and looked at it, and this is sad, and will tick you off at the same time. Hey, Big Ralph, didn't see you come in. She was saying that I'll read you a little part of what she wrote because it's in her own words. Call it a conspiracy theory or not, but a curious investigative reporter, John Rappaport, posted an interesting angle to the Oregon standoff between protesting ranchers and feds that left one of the former dead with this headline: "The Clintons, is the Oregon standoff really about uranium?" Now, you remember that was the whole Bundy family with Lavoy Finicum, who was shot to death when he got out of the car. And to this day, I don't know if he had a gun or not. I don't know if he had his hand on the trigger or not, because nothing's really come out about it. But what I do know is there were a lot of people there from the government, and he was shot dead by a lot of them. So anyway, it said the article was in fact a follow-up to a previous story he wrote that was titled "The Clintons, How Putin Grabbed a Fifth of All U.S. Uranium." And in the most recent, he simply looked at the information he presented in the first, how a deal approved under Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State transferred 20% of U.S. uranium production to Russia and tied it to the geographical location of a proposed uranium mine in Oregon. Coincidentally, the mine development was proposed for the same general area of the widely reported standoff between the protesters and federal and police forces. Now, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. I didn't remember seeing that, and it kind of makes sense. And they're not saying that it was true, but I saw another article where land was being bought, all bought up in the northwest and southwest. I mean, it was kind of like right there. Texas was southwest. Texas, I think it was Nevada. Gosh, I can't remember some of the other states. I didn't see California on the list. Washington, yeah. So, they were kind of going over. That's where the uranium, that's where they were going to have all the sites for uranium. And they were buying up all that land. I think I read something like 38,000 acres. So again, while we were giving away uranium, we were also selling land. And, you'd hate to think that Finicum lost his life over that type of thing or anything at all, but that the fact that they wanted that land and he was on land that either was sold to Russia or was going to be sold to Russia for uranium as part of a deal, and they needed him off. Isn't that where all those cowboys were? What cowboys, Pat? Oh, you mean the Bundys. If you're talking about the Bundys, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Lavoy Finicum. The one that came out of the car and was shot. And that was all really, at the time, if you think about it, remember how there was a woman, one or two women in the car with another guy and Lavoy. And even after he got out of the car, they basically kind of kept shooting. Some of those people in there thought that they were going to die. Were they supposed to? I don't know. But I think it's a very interesting way to look at it. And again, if you want to see that article that she wrote, that's Cheryl Chumley, who's been a guest on my show, and it's under WND.com. So if you look her up and see that. Well, Kona, it kind of looks that way. I mean, we never know. We don't know what happened because we still haven't been told. It's like one of those things that the FBI is involved in, and then we don't get a follow-up. So you don't know. They were going to find out like how many people were there, why Lavoie was shot. Did they shoot him because they had the right to defend themselves? What was the problem? It's awfully, I mean, any way you look at it. And Hugh said that's exactly what he was killed over, he thinks. So, again, we're sitting here and we're not told anything, and we're left to say, oh, well, but that's okay. That's just our government. Think Harry Reid could have been involved? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind, we could at least look at it, right? We need to investigate it. Did they want the Bundys' land in Nevada? Was that what the whole thing was about in Nevada? And again, we don't know. So they wanted the land for uranium. Think I got lost on page 459. Yes, Barbara. That's why they think, that's what she's saying about the standoff in Oregon, that they wanted that land in Oregon. And that's where the standoff was. And I don't know. Maybe those people in Oregon, maybe the Bundys know more about it than we did, And I don't think we're hearing everything. But, I think this whole thing with Mueller, he may have to, if we get the DOJ off their behinds to do something, and again, with these front men being Rod Rosenstein and Andrew McCabe, I don't think that's going to happen. But let's say we could, then Mueller may have to answer someday for whether or not, how much he was involved in the whole Uranium One scheme. Did he know? Did he try to tell people anything? Did he try to stop it? Or how much did he make off of it? And again, this is going to keep going. They're not going to stop this investigation. They're not going to wrap it up. They're going after Manafort because, frankly, I think they can't get too deep because they'll uncover themselves. He was the real hands up, don't shoot. Yeah. Greeting Dons, behind the green mask, Agenda 21. Yikes, a Canadian. Yeah. Bannon told me last night Trump's not going to make spring. Well, Jimmy, I don't know when you got to talk to Bannon, but you're probably one of the elites. Hey, Bill. Nobody gets to talk to Bannon. How can he even be residing over anything when his best friend is Comey? Well, and that's what, originally, when we didn't know anything, when we knew, obviously he's protecting Comey. And what is it with Comey? What in the world was that in the middle of the road, standing there with his tennis shoes on, which he never wears tennis shoes, standing there in, I think it was Iowa. Jimmy, quit, spouting off untruths, because you're going to be out of here if you keep interrupting with garbage. Okay, just letting you know, you're welcome to stay here and listen, but don't start spouting out lies. We don't lie in here. We come forward with the truth. So, but he was standing out in the middle. He's on his book research tour. Yeah, and they're saying now, oh, well, maybe he'll run for president. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Comey should be tweeting from Leavenworth. And he has some fake name, Reinhold something. It's like, really? Is that another word for grandfather clock? I know. Block everybody who speaks lies. That's right, Mary. And let's see, Nevada. If Nevada were a country, it would be the 4th largest gold producer in the world. Why do you think the government wants Bundy's land? Yep. I think it certainly is another reason they want the land. And, those women are just holding on there at the Bundy Ranch while everybody is still locked up. Hey, Lou, good to see you. Nice to see you back online. I haven't gone anywhere. I've been back on. I haven't gone anywhere offline. Yeah, it's all horrible, Mary. It's a huge situation that I think some of the GOP are starting to look into. How far they will get with the investigation, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how far this goes. Is it going to be one of those things that, like Nunez? We needed Nunez to stay in. Yeah, I've been online the whole time. I haven't gone anywhere, Lou. I don't know why my feed was dropping out because it's been on every day. So, yeah, I mean, I can't think that Comey would be president. How long ago was this, Catherine? Are you talking about Comey? That was just the other day. Nunez and Chavez were scared off. Yeah, Chaffetz. I believe that. I believe Nunez really just decided, I better back off of this. If you guys could, we're at the halfway point. If you would please retweet this, share it, and invite people, I would really appreciate it. My numbers have been incredibly weird lately, so I'm trying to have them look into it and see what's going on. Oh, the Bundys. Oh, Catherine, it's been going on for a while. You'd have to look it all up and see. Hey, Teresa, I didn't see you come in. But I can't imagine Comey running for anything or anybody paying him any attention. Hey, Amanda, we need someone with the cojones. Yep. And I'm so glad that Donald Trump, I've heard so many different theories like, oh, well, Donald Trump is now somehow working with Mueller, and this was all their own little game from the very beginning. And, to me, that's ridiculous. Trump wasn't down there in 2009 when Mueller was the head of the FBI, and they weren't setting up how they were going to drain the swamp at that time. So to me, that's an absolutely ridiculous thing that I heard on Periscope. Hey, Marvin. So I think what's happening is hopefully that these people on the left, Mueller, Eric Holder, Rosenstein, and McCabe, and plus, I'm sure, so many more, hopefully they will bury their own selves. They will shoot themselves in the foot because of what they're trying to do. And it's a matter of, do we have anybody still, on the Republican side, other than Grassley, who is clean and it seems clean anyway, and can follow this through. Trump hit the presidency during the information age. Yep. Ryan should step down, and Corker and others. Those people, Corker needs to put a cork in it. He really does. Going on CNN and everything else and talking about Trump, put a cork in it. You're leaving, get out. And the thing of it is, he's like the John McCain. I mean, he really, really is. Every chance they get now, they run and get on CNN. Think we'll see a purple hawk? I don't know. Don't forget, Geistra, Canada, Uranium One got huge uranium. Yep. Cork it. Yep. Cork it. Can't stand Corker. I'm a Tennessean. Yep. The whole collusion thing boomeranged on the Democrats. Well, it is starting to boomerang on the Democrats. Are we going to do anything about it on the GOP? One thing that we absolutely need to do is that we need to make sure that this person, an FBI informant who started this whole thing, is allowed to talk. Now, I can't remember, honestly, if it was my guest who said this or someplace else that I read it, but they said that non-disclosure that the FBI informant was made to sign, they've never seen anything like that before. They said that was highly unusual. So my thing is, if that's unusual, I don't see why Congress can't go in there and say, look, we're going to excuse you from this non-disclosure agreement, which may be void anyway. I don't know. Jerry said it goes way back. Are you talking about the agreement or something else? But they need to go in there and say, look, we're going to waive this. We're not going to have you prosecuted. We're going to make sure that, I refuse to give them a copy. And, you're right, Pat. Congress can't because they're scared. But they need to allow this guy to talk. They have awoken a sleeping lion. Millions of them keep fighting, keep speaking out. Absolutely. And I know there's a petition going around right now saying we need to allow this guy to talk. The NDA is bogus, but they are waiting for this to be done by the book, says attorney. Talking to him will bring the full story. He might be killed. Well, he will be if we keep waiting, that's for sure. Then Trump can pardon him. Exactly. There you go, Cully. And of course, the left will try to stop it in every way that they can. And then talk about it later. Well, President Trump, pardoned this guy. And they never said a peep about anybody, and the Obama administration did. Harvey Weinstein also had NDAs just help him. Yeah, didn't help him. So anyway, I think, I just wanted to talk about that because I just think, let's see, one big can of worms, that's for sure. Yeah, and we have got to keep the pressure on Congress to do something about it. Because if we don't, all of this is going to be for naught. Yeah, I mean, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It really does. Because, I mean, it's the FBI, basically. That whole department needs to be looked at. That whole department needs to be cleaned out. And Comey was part of that whole thing. But we don't know how much, was involved in all of it, how much he was involved in all of it, and how far it went. How, what did they do afterwards? If they did that, were they doing other stuff? Oh, you're going to kill my mother? Well, that's interesting because my mother's dead. I don't think that you'd be able to do that. And don't come in here and say stuff like that. It's ridiculous. That swamp stinks to the high heavens. Yes, it really does. Yeah, they really just need to, I know, creeps on today, obviously, Jules, I tell you. They need to just go through there, start firing people. Sorry, I meant to respond to Don. My vision still isn't doing well. Everybody's having conversations over on YouTube about all this. But again, just keep up the pressure. And Jimmy, we got to let you go, bud. You're just really starting to upset people and interfere with it. Statute of limitations will run out before anything happens. It could, Pat, but I mean, on stuff like this, it could be a very long time. Yeah, Teresa, just tell me, and I'll take note of what you're saying, and then I can do it. Good morning, Ron. Good to see you. So let's talk now about a little bit of the news. We have some time left. Let's talk about some of the things that just happened. I know. He was big time, Cully. So MSNBC did a story on illegal immigration, and I'm imagining it was probably for, hey, Wanda, I don't know why there's no share button sometimes. There should be. It's all public. Hopefully afterwards you'll be able to share it. Let me know if you can't. They were doing a show on illegal immigration, and I'm sure it was to show we don't really need a wall. Everything, there's nobody crossing the border. Everything's fine. And when all of a sudden, 3 people came and jumped across the fence as they were having, they were filming. One was a little girl with a pink backpack, so it shows you how easy it was. And the other were, I guess, 2 adults. What's up from the University of Southern California campus? Wow, they let you out and they let you on Periscope. Tap the top of the screen and you can share. Oh, on Facebook. Wanda, Cully said tap the top of the screen and you can share on Facebook. Now, Kathy Griffin is unhappy about a past attorney, Laura Bloom. Yeah, she was talking about Facebook, Cully. And you don't feel like the wall crossing was staged? Well, do you think that they made like 3 people run across it? I mean, I don't think they would want you to see that. Yeah, I know. She doesn't like the fact that she paid, I guess, tens of thousands of dollars for some little press conference. And she didn't feel that, I know, poor Kathy. And now I guess there's more owed. And the attorney wants her money. And Kathy's like, I'm not paying you. So we'll see. where that's going. She said that she's demanding a refund for the tens of thousands of dollars. And I mean, that's pretty amazing. Tens of thousands of dollars for what? One little appearance on TV. And also, Kathy is getting pretty nasty. Why would she make that public? Because she doesn't want to have to pay Danielle. She obviously owes a lot of money. So she doesn't want to have to pay her attorney. She figures if she goes out public with it and she can get the public on her side, then her attorney is going to drop the demand for the rest of the attorney's fees. It's okay, Wanda. Maybe you can share it afterwards. And Chessie, maybe you can share it afterwards. But also, she's lost a lot of work. Yes. Good defense attorney. Yeah, good defense attorneys are expensive, but tens of thousands of dollars for one appearance. So this morning, Kathy, or I think it was this morning or last night, she called Anderson Cooper a spineless heiress. Kathy needs "I'm a nasty girl" shirt. Yes, Cully said. But she called him a spineless heiress, and she says that is a quote from her gay friends and viewers. So in other words, that's pretty insulting to call him an heiress when he's a man. And if somebody on the right had done that, they would have been skewered. In other information, 5 teenage boys are charged with second-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder after dropping a rock or several rocks on an overpass that killed a man who was driving. And I think he was a 32-year-old man on his way home from work. Yeah, Kathy needs to. Kathy, she's trying to get money in some way. Dumb and Dumber. So the 5 teenage boys are in jail right now. So I know a young father, so sad. I guess it hit him in the head, and it probably killed him pretty instantly. And who knows if they thought it was some funny thing. That was sad in the aspect kids do dumb things. Yep. Yes, Danielle, it's very dangerous. I had a convertible one time a few years back, and I was driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden this huge, and I'm talking huge rock, I don't know how big it was because I didn't see it after it left my windshield. It hit the windshield, and it was such a loud boom, and it just like cracked my entire windshield. And I was thinking, my gosh, if it had not hit the windshield and it hit me instead, it would have been all she wrote. Yeah. So sometimes maybe convertibles aren't all that great. Okay. Thank you, Jules. So also in other news, Oklahoma City is going to rename all of its, anything named after a Confederate general is going to be renaming everything. Lucky it didn't shatter totally. Yeah, I think it's just because the glass was, really high quality glass. And hey, Renee, that wouldn't allow the windshield to crack, thank God, and smash and shatter. But it was really bad. My windshield cracked after Overpass 2, thought it was a gun. Wow, Patriot. We had a watermelon hit the top of the car once, so that was close. Thank God it was just a watermelon. Of course, that could have been pretty heavy on the top of your car. But, wow. Yeah, people really should not throw things. ISIS also busy erasing history. Yep. So, yeah, from the overpass. Ivanka Trump has been working on a proposal to expand the $1,000 child tax credit. She wants to get more. The island of Maui just lost power due to a severe storm. Yeah, there's a typhoon. I don't know. I haven't looked at that, but there's a typhoon in Japan. I don't know how bad that is. That was supposed to be pretty bad. Yeah, Ivanka is, continuing to do her stuff. So I'm not, again, she is part of the administration in ways. Thank God for voices like yours and Sean Hannity to keep the fires of truth burning. Thank you, Josette. My windshield has been cracked 3 times by rocks off of trucks. That's, yes. Yeah, the weather is crazy, but, again, if you believe in the what it says in the end times, we're going to see more earthquakes, more typhoons, more hurricanes. You would double the child tax credit for tax-paying Americans with kids. Radio said, I would like some tax credits. I don't have kids, but it would be nice. It would really be nice. I know, it's people that with kids, they need that, but other people do too. Catherine says, what's up in Oklahoma? They're just going to rename everything, Catherine, that were named after Confederate generals. Once upon a time, people only had children they could afford to care for. That's true, Catherine. That's true. Catherine said it would be nice to have that credit as well. We are living the end times as written in the Bible. Yes, we are, Renee. When my husband drove a semi, people were throwing stuff off bridges all the time, Amanda said. Patrick said, typhoon land, my friends there say mostly wind damage. Wow. Which is good. When you get the water with the wind, that's really not too much you can do about that. Let's see. Antifa, after inviting conservative commentator Mike Cernovich to speak at Columbia University on October 30th, Joey Siegel, a board member of the Columbia University College Republicans, has become the target of Antifa flyers posted around the campus. He found out Friday that there were flyers bearing his name. And Antifa said, basically, if you see Joey, let him know what you think. And Joey pointed out, see you later, Hurley. Thanks for coming in, Pat. Talk to you tomorrow. He pointed out to reporters that he was being implicated for inviting Cernovich, with whom he doesn't even agree. He said, I don't want to bring Tommy Robinson or Mike Cernovich to campus because I am more interested in other speakers. So, okay, so you invited him, but you don't want him there. And, I mean, maybe he just sort of backed off of it because he didn't want to be the target of Antifa. But so we'll see. I mean, are Cernovich and Robinson going to be protected when they go there at the Columbia University on October 30th? Who knows? Seems like everybody's making the speaking rounds these days. There's some, yes, Jules, yuck, I know. There's some reports out about Laura Ingraham. I don't know if this is just coming from the left to try to make her look bad. I don't know. But it says sources paint the picture of Laura as a tyrant who is notoriously difficult to work with and sometimes verbally abusive toward her staff. 2 former employees of her national radio show recalled separate incidents where Ingraham threw physical objects at her employees when she was angry with them. Now, this is according to her, the Daily Caller. And somebody said, have you ever seen The Devil Wears Prada? A former producer for the show said, the radio show, that's what it's like, except it's the devil does radio, and there are no redeeming qualities with her. So there you go. Tommy Robinson from the UK. Yes, Gary. I don't know if he's coming there, but I guess they were talking, maybe he just was saying his name. Yeah, they don't want her to have her own show. Probably not. Oh, Wanda. Okay. Wanda has liberals in the getting their hair done. She wants me to speak a little bit louder so they can hear. Antifa's preparing to learn that Xbox ain't real combat, John said. She has an amazing conservative worldview. She does, Patriot. I think that it's probably just the left trying to make her, trying to hurt her image already. And she's with Fox, so they've got to think up something. I know, Daily Caller is pretty reliable on that source. Yep, and that's where I got that from. Oh, great. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I like her too. I like her point of view. She doesn't seem to be any different than than what you see her as being. So she's tough. She will handle herself well. I think so. I think so. I thought the devil wore a Speedo, Don said. I don't know. I like her a lot too. Again, you have to wonder if that's just coming from the left, who just, these people on a radio show who just are angry and they want to, make her look bad. Hey, there's a story that never made the news. You might look into it. What is that, Ben? It's a Tucker website. She didn't get where she is by being a doormat. The haters are going to hate. Yep. The Sheehan family near Area 51. Okay. Yeah, again, I was talking about my guest last night. If you didn't get to listen to that show, just go to SusanKnowles.com. Listen to David Hardy talk about the government and how they get away with a lot of stuff. And I have that radio show also in an article that I wrote yesterday regarding, are we really have reason not to trust our government anymore? At least the agencies within the government. Hello, Paula. How are you? Okay, thank you, Hugh. I'll check it out. Laura worked D.C. swamp, so she was developed pushback skills. Yes. Loss of property to Air Force with signature of Obama appointed judge. Wow. That's not surprising. And Area 51, isn't that in Las Vegas area near there? Sorry, I'm not on a lot. Night, you're a night out. Okay, you and Carmen. New mega fan. Good to see you. It happened before the shooting. But it's in Vegas, right, Ben? Maybe that was one of the lands for, that they were going to have land for the uranium. Who knows? I don't know. Her show starts next week, so the knives are already out. Yes, Josette, that's very true. Roswell, Nevada, yeah. I thought, yeah, okay. Makes sense. So, need to probably look into that. Carmen has sleep troubles in upper Nevada. Okay. There are new Arizona State Sun Devils will wear a special uniform honoring Pat Tillman during their November 4th game against Southern California. Tillman, as you know, played for Arizona State. Yeah, that's in New Mexico. I was going to say Roswell. It's Roswell, New Mexico. Area 51 is in Nevada, right? Tillman played for ASU and for the Arizona Cardinals prior to joining the United States Army. He was killed in 2004 by friendly fire in Afghanistan. So the uniforms look really good. Thanks, Teresa. I know. What a great guy he was. I mean, he really did go to try to do something important. And I think there's another example of a person who would not be taking a knee, right? And this is a reason not to take a knee for somebody like Pat Tillman, who gave his life so that others could be stupid if they wanted to be, I guess. Again, it's not illegal to take a knee, but it is disrespectful. And I continue to have people that try to convince me otherwise. The Sheehans are neighbors with Area 51. They had ore mines on their property. Patriot, you just have to go out and come back in. He would never have done that. No, he wouldn't, Marlene. Absolutely not. I mean, obviously he loved his country. It is insulting to all Americans. Well, to many of them, Teresa. Some are just saying, they have a right to do that. I even had somebody tell me that that's the place to do it. That during the national anthem is the time to protest, and that's what it's there for. No, sorry. Roswell's in New Mexico. Yeah, Don. Listen to Susan's interview with David Hardy. I think you will like it. Thanks, Gary. Yeah. When you're at a football game, you're there to play football. I don't understand why people don't understand how disrespectful this is. Jesse, I have come to the conclusion that there are some people that think just like the total opposite of what other people think. And there's nothing that you can do or say, no argument, no debate, that you can ever get into that's going to make them change their minds. They just see things a different way. The way they want. I've heard this is just odd. This is all happening now. NFL is hemorrhaging money and Kaepernick is still unemployed. Yep. And I'm not going to add to the NFL. Anthem is a time of reverence, not protest. Thank you, Chris. Absolutely. It's and again, I had somebody on Facebook talk to me and wanted me to say why that I thought that Obama was racially divisive. And I said, if you have to ask me, then we obviously don't see eye to eye, and we're not going to see eye to eye. And personally, I get tired of entering into debates with people like that when they don't have any intentions of being open-minded and listening. So it's a waste of everybody's time. So I just said, we'll just agree to disagree, because we do, and we will, and we always will. I think it's very rarely you find somebody that will change their mind. Are the feminists trying to sway the election? Hey, you should go back and listen to a couple of Periscopes that I did on that. Shake the dirt off your sandals. Yes, exactly. A couple of Periscopes where I was talking about how women, what they're doing, and the scheme that's being played. Or go to SusanKnowles.com. Look at my articles. You'll find them there. The protesting is a result of 8 years of permissiveness or John lawlessness. All right, Carmen. Yes, thank you. Please go to SusanKnowles.com. Carmen said, nope, unless they get red-pilled. In some countries, they'd be in jail. Yeah. All right, Carmen, take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. I refuse to throw my pearls before swine. Yes. Crooked Hillary. I tell you, we just need to get to the bottom of it. Feminists need to really do something to sway anything. Many on the left have closed minds and not willing to debate the issues. It's so true. And it's unfortunate, Chicago Pops. I mean, sometimes you'd really like to have a conversation, but what typically happens when you're in a debate with the left, eventually and pretty soon, I might add, it gets to name calling. And it's like, okay, why didn't you just do that in the beginning? That's what you wanted to do. We could have saved each other some time. So I don't like to get into the name calling. I just, after that, it's done. Liberals hate the truth. They do not research. They have the talking points. It's like what we saw when they were doing that campus reform interview. As long as they thought that the tax reform was from Bernie Sanders, they were all for it. The minute they thought it was from President Trump, it was all over. Didn't like it, didn't want anything to do with it. They don't want to listen. They hear the name. They parrot everything. They do. They listen to what MSM tells them to say, or what other people on the left tell them to say. And that's it. They're not willing to go and look at it themselves. They're not willing to do any research. They're not willing to expand their minds. I have people on the left who tell me that all the time. I gave them the Judge Jeanine thing the other day when Judge Jeanine was talking about the uranium one and other things. Hey, Karen, good to see you. And I gave it to them and I said, this is the truth. Listen to that. And, basically wrote back and said, this is BS. This is not the truth, blah, blah, blah. This is the Jordan Peterson. Well, I think I understand the Marxist agenda very well by listening to Obama. You just have to live under him for 8 years. You know what a Marxist is. Feel like the Weinstein thing coming out now is swaying off the next level. Well, it is. It's showing you that women are great and men can't be trusted. I have learned so much from your show, Susan. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. R. Witherspoon. I like that. If that were Reese herself, how many followers would she have? Thank you. Have a great day, Lee. I'll see you tomorrow. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Why not back when Obama in term? Why not back when Obama? Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Barbara. So if you would please, everybody, retweet this, share this. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. We've really demeaned men. Unfortunately, Chezzy, and men have to, you're welcome, Chris. Men have to really step it up and not take this BS and not allow the feminists to talk about them and to them like this and not try to minimize them and not try to change them into women. Great program, Susan. Thank you. Have an awesome day. And same to all of you. Thank you so much, Gary. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Teresa, maybe afterwards, try to retweet afterwards, if you will. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. And everybody on YouTube, thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll see you.